11 student from Jakarta Intercultural School, and today I will be talking about how we can use technology to enhance the future of swimming. Now, let's be clear here. I love swimming. I've been doing it for so long, it's just become such a big part of my life. I love swimming so much that when I'm not in a pool, I tune into the Olympics, to national competitions, just so I can see some swimming. However, despite how much I love swimming, that's not going to stop me from admitting that swimming is hard. Really. I mean, this is probably very unexpected, considering how you see all these Olympians, you see all these athletes, they're doing their flies, their backstrokes, their breaststrokes, their freestyles, and they make it look so easy. They're practically gliding across the water like it's nothing. However, whenever I try to do these strokes for myself, let's just say I don't move that far. Now, the natural response to a swimmer not going as quickly or as far as they'd like would be to put more power into their stroke. However, this winds up causing them an injury. The common misinterpretation of this is that people tend to believe that swimming is a very power-oriented sport. Like, that's it. Like, people get injured because they're not strong enough to do the stroke, and they're technically not really wrong. I mean, have you seen Michael Phelps? He is tall, he has a wide wingspan, he has a long torso. He's genetically, perfect for swimming. He's genetically unbeatable. However, that's the key word. He's genetically unbeatable. But we all know he's been beaten before, right? By no doubt with somebody genetically inferior. By someone with a better technique. Sorry, my apologies. Now that we understand how important technique is, I suppose it's important to ask ourselves, why is technique so hard to get right? And the answer is actually pretty simple. Because it's unnatural. I mean, when are you ever gonna do this or do this unless you're inside of the pool? You're not gonna go walking like this, right? Yeah. So that's why we have coaches. Coaches are actually meant to teach us why we're supposed to do the stroke and how we're supposed to do the stroke naturally. However, coaches can only do so much. As you see here, the line of sight is limited to the surface of the water, and since most of the action in swimming happens underwater, they can't see any of that. It's not like they can just poke their head down there and be like, no, I don't think that's right. They can't do that. In addition, they have to take care of 10 to 20 other kids at a time. They don't have time to focus on swimmers individually. That's why swimmers tend to rely on technology in order to further enhance their swim. Now, some of the most common swimming technologies nowadays rely on pacing and power output. Pacing is basically the amount of time it takes for a swimmer to swim one lap, and power output is the amount of effort a swimmer puts into their stroke. Don't get me wrong, these technologies are very useful. However, they're not detailed enough. Just because you move faster, just because you put more power into your stroke, that doesn't mean you're getting better at swimming. That could just mean you're putting in more effort, and more effort given the wrong stroke can give you an injury. It can wind up catastrophic. These technologies are not enough. That's why I decided to create my own. Introducing the Mao swim paddles. These swim paddles, or more like devices, utilize a gyroscope in order to measure the angle of your hand as you move it in all sorts of directions, up, down, left, right, side to side. The angles are then placed into a graph that can be viewed by swimmers and coaches alike after the swim. Now, the first time I tested this prototype was on my Vasa ergometer. What a Vasa does is it mimics the flow of water, but on land. The reason I did this was because I couldn't make it waterproof and I didn't want to electrocute myself. So, here we are. As you can see here, this is the data collected while I was swimming, and as you can see, well, it works. Now, but what does all this data mean? Let me get into some technical details. So, as you can see previously, it's split into 3 different lines. The first line, the green line, is called the yaw. This is basically when it rotates left and right. When the graph goes down, you can assume that the yaw is rotating to the left, and when the graph goes up, you can assume it's rotating to the right. Next, we have the pitch. This is the up and down movement of the graph. When the graph goes up, the pitch is going up, and when the graph goes down, the pitch is going down. Finally, we have the roll. This is the side-to-side movement of your hand, which means when you move it to the left side, then the graph goes down, and when you move it to the right side, the graph goes up. Now, let's translate that into this graph I have. If you think about it, that my stroke should look somewhat like this. It's an S-shaped stroke. And as you can see in the picture over there, it's one of the most efficient strokes for mid to long distance swimmers. Since I'm a mid to long distance swimmer, I suppose you could say I'm doing the right stroke. This is how much information this technology can tell you. Now, I'm aware that this technology is still a prototype. There's still so much I've yet to do, like make it waterproof. I could even add additional things, like I could have it count the number of strokes the swimmer takes. I could have it count the distance the swimmer swims. The possibilities are endless. And I will be using the future to tackle all of those possibilities because I see a future where this paddle can accommodate every single swimmer, regardless of whether they're just starting out or whether they want to push the future of competitive swimming. Thank you so much. My name is Rahardja.